August 14, 2025 isn't just another date. It marks 90 years since the Social Security Act was signed, and it may be remembered as a turning point for retirement in America. Beneath the birthday headlines, there are real shifts underway, shifts that could shape how today's retirees and future retirees live for decades. Before we dive in, drop your age and state in the comments. Knowing who's here helps tailor smarter strategies for this community. Here's the big picture most people miss. Milestone moments like this don't just make history. They trigger debates, funding reviews, and legislative pushes. And in 2025, those discussions are heating up. Social Security supports tens of millions every month, with payments so large that even small changes in funding, taxes, or benefit formulas can ripple through the economy and into personal budgets. We're looking at 5 critical developments tied to this 90th anniversary. I'll walk through them from the manageable to the one that could redefine retirement itself. 1. Erosion of buying power. The first is subtle, but it's been quietly eating away at retirees for years. The erosion of buying power. Yes, Social Security benefits receive cost of living adjustments. But those adjustments are tied to an index that doesn't always line up with what seniors actually spend on things like medical care, food, and housing. These essentials often rise faster than the benchmark used to set COLA. What does that mean? If someone retired a decade ago, the check they receive today likely buys noticeably less even after annual increases. Over a 20-year retirement, this silent drift can add up to the equivalent of several years' worth of benefits. The result is painful. Cutting back becomes a necessity, not a choice. Healthier food gets swapped for cheaper options. Preventive care gets delayed. Even small joys like visiting family or fixing up the house start to fall off the list. What helps? Start tracking a personal inflation rate. Compare real expenses year over year. Build a small buffer fund now, even if it means trimming somewhere else. And when the new COLA number appears, don't just glance at the percentage, run the math against actual bills. That one habit will put anyone ahead of the crowd that simply accepts whatever number appears. 2. Tightening eligibility landscape. The second development is the tightening eligibility landscape. Reviews and cross-checks have become more frequent and more exacting. It doesn't always make headlines, but eligibility audits and re-verifications are happening more often. Why does this matter? A small reporting mistake, a missed address change, a misunderstood income update can lead to suspended benefits while things get sorted out. Missing a month or two of deposits can create immediate pressure. Mortgage, utilities, insurance premiums, and medical costs don't pause. There's no fast lane once. Payments stop. The best defense is proactive. Keep digital and paper copies of all communications. Report changes in writing and confirm receipt. Have a trusted person double-check forms before submitting. And log in monthly to the online account to catch flags early. The people who get blindsided are usually the ones who haven't checked in a while. 3. The tax creep on benefits. Third, the tax creep on benefits. Social Security was once largely tax-free for many retirees. That changed decades ago. Today, depending on combined income, half of Social Security benefits plus other income benefits can be taxed, in some cases up to 85%. The thresholds that trigger taxation haven't been adjusted in a long time. Meanwhile, inflation, pensions, required minimum distributions, and even modest investment returns push more retirees into taxable territory year after year. The effect is frustrating. Money earned and taxed during working years can feel like it's getting taxed again in retirement. The way through is planning, coordinating withdrawals to avoid big income spikes, considering earlier conversions that reduce future taxable income, and spreading gains over multiple years are examples of how to manage combined income more deliberately. None of that happens automatically, and the window narrows the longer retirement goes on. 4. The solvency clock. Fourth, the solvency clock is ticking louder. Without new legislation, the main trust fund for retirement benefits is projected to be depleted within the next decade. That doesn't mean Social Security disappears. It means that, absent action, Benefits could be reduced automatically to match incoming revenue, often estimated around a roughly 1/5 cut across the board. For an average retiree, that's like losing nearly 3 months of payments every year permanently. For those already stretched thin, that could be the difference between keeping a home or selling, affording medication or skipping doses. Waiting for a last-minute fix is the riskiest move. History shows that policy changes often happen late and under pressure. The practical step now is to build scenarios. If benefits dropped by around 20%, what changes would cover the gap? Downsizing? Certain expense cuts? Supplemental income? Planning this today is far less painful than scrambling in the middle of a crisis. 5. The legislative pivot point. Finally, the fifth and most consequential development, a legislative pivot point. Milestone years usually spark political maneuvering. This time, the conversation is broader, less about patching the shortfall, and more about reshaping the program for the next century. Ideas being discussed range from raising or removing the payroll tax cap to increasing the full retirement age again, to altering the formula used to calculate benefits. Some even explore blending Social Security with other safety net programs. Structural changes like these, once enacted, are rarely reversed. Today's retirees might see minimal immediate change, but people close to claiming and younger generations could face a very different rulebook. Here's what's in personal control. Track the numbers that matter to the household, not just the headline indexes. Keep documentation clean and current to avoid eligibility snags. Manage taxable income deliberately to stay below thresholds when possible. Build a contingency plan for a potential benefit reduction. Stay informed as proposals emerge and be ready to adjust. 90 years after it began, Social Security remains a pillar and a moving target. The people who thrive in uncertain times aren't necessarily the ones with the most money. They're the ones with the clearest plan. If this helped clarify the road ahead, subscribe for updates that turn big policy shifts into practical, real-world steps. This is one anniversary no one wants to look back on and wish they'd acted sooner.